Alright, we're going to talk about Thor Ragnarok in a very spoiler-free fashion. We'll probably do a tiny spoiler talk at the end. There's not too much to talk about in that area. I feel like I love the Thor films. Token yawn right out the gate. But this, it is 10:15, but this film was anything but yawn-worthy.
Oh yeah.
I was looking forward to this quite a bit. I didn't fully realise how much I was looking forward to this until it started, and I was like, yeah. This is, I love the Thor films. I don't know what it is.
With a bang too.
I love all the Marvel movies. It's a tricky thing because you come across as a fanboy, but I love what they do. They found this formula, and yeah, maybe there's a bit too many of them. Yeah, maybe they're a bit too samey, but I enjoy them every single time. There's no real bad egg as far as I'm concerned. And this one, the plot is very simple. We have Hela, the goddess of death, played by Cate Blanchett, comes in. She wants to destroy Asgard, take it over. And then Thor ends up on another planet where he fights Hulk, which is in all the trailers. And it's an adventure film. It's an action-adventure, comedy, superhero extravaganza. It has all those elements that you have in entertaining films. Rolls them all into one and then just throws you a hell of an entertaining film.
Yeah, but the humor in this one is just great.
Yes, the funniest Marvel film for me.
There was no point where I was like... Ugh.
Yeah.
Like... Most of the superhero movies nowadays, I have to do this. Like, oh, really? They did that?
Right.
But this time it was just like, it's great.
There's a fine line you have, and controversial, but you have something like Guardians of the Galaxy, the two films, which I love. I think they're great. I really enjoy them. They're really funny, but they always push it just that bit too far for me. Where it's like, oh, dance off, bro. It's like, oh, you're killing me here, you know. I can't believe you... Well, actually, I'm not going to spoil anything from Volume 2 because it's still pretty new, but there's just some moments in those films where the humor just overrides everything and it doesn't work. Here, it was kind of perfect, I thought. Really, really funny and so interesting to take the New Zealand director, Taika Waititi. Like, oh, let's get the guy who did What We Do in the Shadows to do a Marvel film. Like, what? But it just so works. It has that unique flavour to it, both from him being in the film in a very small but memorable and funny role, I think, as this CGI rock warrior guy, and a couple of other New Zealand actors and stuff, but also it has that humour that he has in all of his films. And I think none more effective than it with Jeff Goldblum's character, the Grandmaster. This is like the most Jeff Goldblum has been since the 90s at least. He was just hilarious in the film.
What did I say? Like, they let the Goldblum out or something?
Right, I said that...
They let him out.
Yeah, I said that I enjoyed him in Independence Day 2, but it was a little bit disappointing. I was expecting, like, full Goldblum. Yeah. And you said, well, they didn't let him all the way out or something like that.
Yeah. They didn't let him out then.
Right.
They did in this one. That was Goldblum.
He's...
Like...
I love Jeff.
So funny.
I love Jeff Goldblum
So
to the point where I like a Facebook page that is the same picture of Jeff Goldblum every single day. And it's just him like that. Just looking at this Facebook page every day for years, just post the same picture, which is great.
Respect to the people who actually pull through and do that.
Yeah, and you know, Thor, Chris Hemsworth, he's just great. He's so funny. He's got such great comedic timing and the dedication to work out and get the body that makes his character believable. Yeah. You know, like it just, I mean, yeah, they have the obligatory shot where he has to take his top off and you see those abs, but it helps the character that he's got these bulging muscles, you know, he's on the floor and the veins are popping out of his arm, and it just makes sense and works.
That's the way it is. They have to work out for these roles now.
Yeah. And
you can tell he doesn't just work out his abs, he works out everything.
Yeah, right.
Like he had some back muscles that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
It was like weird shapes going on in that back, and it was all muscle.
He's got muscles in places I don't have places.
Yes.
Who else did we have in the film?
Loki.
We had Loki. Yeah. I feel like Loki was a guy who, you know, was going to be the villain in the Avengers and just became such a fan favourite that they just had to keep on bringing him back. And
he's the heel that everyone loves.
He's the heel that everyone loves. I love that reference. Breaking kayfabe. No, I just love wrestling references in real life, and I didn't expect them from you.
But it's true.
He's that guy that you love to be entertained by and also to hate in some ways, but you never fully hate him.
He's the Joker
of
the Marvel movies.
He is, and it's like, you know, he tried to, like, kill everyone in the Avengers, but yet you still kind of root for him to maybe change. And,
because he's funny.
right, because he's funny. Yeah, he has that charisma about him.
There is one line he delivers in this movie, and
you
I'm
laughed
not
out
going
loud.
to say what it was.
You laughed out loud above everyone else in the cinema. It was one of those
and then I laughed again when everyone was silent because I replayed it in my head.
That's what it was.
I laughed when everyone was silent. Then everybody laughed, but I laughed.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And I feel like these videos we do when we've just seen a film in the cinema is like its own little series, and I have to go back to it again. The cinema experience. It's always something. Now, bearing in mind this wasn't as bad as, say, It or Blade Runner. You know, with It was just everything. Blade Runner was the guy going, the whole fucking 2 hours and 45 minutes. This one was a girl sat right next to us going, for the whole film. Not even the jokes. There's a bit where Thor decides to come in and take out these bad guys, and he jumps down. It's a slow motion shot of him coming towards these guys. He's going to take them down. What? How's that funny? How is that funny? Where's the humour in that?
I think
what are you doing?
Famous painting.
No. A girl like that doesn't know what a famous painting. I'm sorry. It was just so
annoying. But yeah, I agree. It was annoying.
And it's a testament to how great the film was, how enjoyable it was, that I loved it as much as I did when I was distracted 25% of the time from all of the jokes because she was laughing so loud. I felt like I would be somehow lessened if I laughed at it, so it kind of just took the edge off some of the jokes. But it wasn't too bad. I take that over the guy and the abortion that was the It screening any day.
So the movie was great. The comedy was great.
Yeah.
The special effects were great.
Yeah, some great cinematography. There's a great shot in the beginning, in the opening sequence.
I really want that dog.
Dog?
Big dog.
Oh, the big dog, right? Yeah.
So cute.
So cute.
It was like the dog in that Guardian game.
Oh, the Last Guardian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit, I suppose. Well, he's just a big dog. That's all it is, real. Big wolf, I suppose.
Big dog.
Yeah, they don't exist, unfortunately.
Kate Blanchett. Oh my God, I want to be her when I get that old. How old is she now? Like 50?
She's 50-something, I think.
50-something,
I think
definitely.
she is.
Like,
If
she's
not
old
late
enough
40s.
to be my mom, and she's smoking.
Right, that's a problem I had with the... Well, not a problem, just a nitpick is that you could tell they were doing that, the digital face smoothing, which apparently, I didn't know, apparently, and I've heard this from someone, this is actually a thing. They have departments dedicated to smoothing people's faces in these Hollywood films. It's just
It's a lot of work.
It's such, yeah, for such bullshit reasons. Like,
No.
who cares if she's... What do you know?
Look, people get really upset about the wrinkles, and they don't want that in a massive screen, do they?
I don't think this is imposed by Kate Blanchett.
Look,
She doesn't seem the type to say, "Nah, make sure you take all my wrinkles away." I don't know. I think this is more of a cosmetic thing for the studio, where it's like, well, we have to have the... I don't know. It feels gross. I don't like it, and it looks weird on people's faces sometimes. And I really noticed it in this film. It's not the whole film, but there were shots where her face just looked too fucked with digitally, and I just thought, you know.
I just thought, Jesus, she's pretty.
And yeah, and she did good in the film.
By doing that, I focus on her eyes and her, instead of just, oh, there's, okay, so that's how old
And
she is.
it's a very minor point, you know, but it's just something that I noticed and took me out of it like a tiny bit throughout the film. She was really good in the film. I enjoyed her a lot.
If I played in a movie, I would make them wipe it all.
They wiped it all. It is wrinkle free.
Yeah, it sounds great. However, they did not wipe the wrinkles off of Thor and Loki. They look so much older.
Well, yeah. And that's the way it should be. You know, I don't see
Yep,
this,
they're
you know,
men, so it's okay.
and I don't think that should be a standard. Anyway, right, so on with the film. She wasn't in as much as I thought she'd be, even though she is the central villain, but she was very good, and I enjoyed her character's story and everything, and how it played into the whole Hulk. I really liked Hulk in the film.
He was funny.
He was funny, yeah. I prefer him in the two Avengers movies because there's just more to dig into with the character, but it was a lot of fun and to see a different side of Hulk and the idea of to hear Hulk talk. And I liked how it was kind of truncated and still kind of childlike in a way, like it wasn't proper eloquent speaking, it was more very basic, you know, like there is no team, only Hulk, just stuff like that.
Very
primal, yeah, it felt appropriate to the character, and I loved just exploring the idea of him being inside Hulk for too long, where Hulk takes over. And then when Banner comes out of it, he's like, "This never happened before. I always felt like I had both hands on the wheel." So that was a cool way to take the character into a different direction. And the trailer scene, you know, he's a friend from work, which is just such a great moment. Apparently it was a Make-A-Wish kid who was visiting the set, and that kid came up with the line, "Why don't you say he's a friend from work?" I love that. It's such a sweet story, yeah. And it's just one of the best. And the only thing is that clip has been played so much and is in every trailer that when it happened, it wasn't as funny because you're just waiting for that friend from work line to happen. But that's just the way it is.
Oh, it's such a great movie.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
just
So
remember
enjoyable.
scenes. There's like not much going on. It's just like Loki's facial expression that just made me crack up.
Yeah, the whole.
He's so funny. Everybody's great.
And it just didn't feel like it was going over. It felt like an appropriate comedy, and the weight of the other scenes was still there, which I felt was really tied into Odin's character, played by Anthony Hopkins. He really kept the film on some sort of dramatic plane that it needed to be to make us care about what was happening when the rest of the film is so entertaining and funny. What?
Oh, he was my least favorite.
Okay, well,
the way he delivered his lines made me like, do you want to do this?
Interesting. Okay, that's cool.
And then when you said that he didn't want to do it, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I heard that initially he wasn't keen to return to the franchise, and then he read the part and decided, I guess, to change his mind.
I felt like he read the part.
That's really interesting. I got something to say about that, and we'll get to that in the spoiler section. But overall, I loved it.
Well, the first one, not the second scene he was in, but the first scene he was in, I was like...
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it in just a second then. I loved it. My gut reaction is it's my favourite Marvel movie. Like,
yes.
I don't think it's the best. I think
it's the best.
I think The Avengers is better. I think Civil War's better. The Winter Soldier's certainly better. I think even the first Guardians of the Galaxy is better.
Civil
as a film.
War?
Yes.
That's my least favourite Marvel movie, I think.
Like that whole...
No, it's not. But it's the least favourite.
The ending with Iron Man and Captain America is just so loaded and just brilliant. I love it. But I think this is my favourite, just the one I've enjoyed so much. And I love the Thor films. Like, everyone shits on the second one. I love it. That's one of my favourite ones. I don't know what it is about...
Oh, it's not for me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. No one likes it.
The first one is my favourite.
No one likes
the second one is like watching The Return of the King. It's like, you just have to do it for the marathon, but you don't really want to watch it. You know? You just want to watch the first one and maybe part of the second one, and you want to watch, like, the ghost scene in the third one. But that's just... Like, what else is there? No. So the second one's like, yeah, I'll sit through it.
I love the second one. I love it. I don't know what it is.
Some scenes that are great.
No one likes it, and I love it.
No. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's one of my least favorite. And this one is just so high up there.
And I love how the trilogy is so different. Each film is so different, you know. The first one's great, you know. It's that one doesn't get a lot of credit either. I think the first Thor film is great. And
we didn't mention the main girl.
The Valkyrie, I don't know her character's name. Yeah, she was really good too.
And that's something that I wanted to just mention because Thor says something about like you were all women, but nothing against women. And the way he was like saying something like, because it was about time that you women.
And they just like a thumbs up.
And then it's like a thumbs up. And you know that was meant for her. It was meant for the freaking female audience.
It was meant for everyone.
We're gonna shit all over the movie because of that line now. But it's kind of like, I said this now, so you shut up. All your tweets, just leave it. We gave you a message. Like, he might as well have looked into the camera, you know?
I know. It was definitely a current climate kind of comment, I think. It was very appropriate to the times we're living in, I thought, and it was
yes.
It's a good
it looked like Thor, or you know,
Chris Hemsworth.
Like he was like, oh, I'm so sick of this stuff, but okay, I'll deliver this line, you know.
Yeah.
But one of the funniest people were your guy.
Yeah, the guy I laughed at.
Mr. New Zealand.
There's just a line that killed me.
Hey man.
we're going to start a revolution, but I didn't print off enough pamphlets. Like, there's a talking rock.
Horrible accent.
There's a talking rock that says pamphlet. And, like, it just killed me. I don't know what it was. So
go away, ghost boy, or something like that. I mean,
I saw a ghost.
Everything he did was so like, I want to be his friend. That's how funny it was.
Yeah, I just want to hear him just talking like, you know, like Jeff Goldblum, you know. I almost feel like.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be Jeff Goldblum's friend.
I almost feel like they just.
Or I would, but
they just hired Jeff Goldblum and said, right, the scene is you're gonna do this, and you just come up with the words, and he just did. Like it just feels so
improvised.
Yeah.
Some of it,
right, so
Jeff just being Jeff.
We loved it. Big thumbs up. we could definitely ramble
Could
on
go
about how much
on
we
and
enjoy
on
this
about
and
this
stuff
movie.
like that. Yeah.
So many great
So,
scenes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, well, not say.
And the main girl was great too, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I liked the character a lot. I just liked the setting of that alien planet and everything. It was just a fun adventure. And it maybe leans a little bit too much on using like 80s soundtrack and stuff.
No, I love the 80s.
No, I loved it, but I think it is an easy way to make something more enjoyable because it's so cool. And everyone's doing it. Everyone's been doing it for a long time now. The past couple of years, films
Guardians
keep
of the
going.
Galaxy started it, and that's Marvel, so...
Well, yeah, I mean, the leaning on the 80s nostalgia is just happening so much, but I didn't care. It might be an easy choice, but it's a choice that I enjoyed the hell out of.
Well, the 80s was the best.
The 80s was very good. And
that I lived to experience the 80s,
Yeah.
but what I've seen. The
And
movies.
I loved how they used the Led Zeppelin song in the film. And I know that they probably pay by the second for that song, and they probably had to pay for the 2 times they used it in the film and the trailer. But I like to imagine a world in which they just paid for the song outright and was like, right, we've got to use it in the trailer, in the film twice. Like, it just felt like they really made the most out of that. And I think that Led Zeppelin are notoriously expensive, so yeah, it was perfectly used. And just the opening sequence, the opening action sequence was incredible.
They could have had just like some kind of like normal movie soundtrack song on it, and they chose that song.
Oh.
And I was thinking, this is perfect. I love this. I'm loving this. And I was actually sat like...
Yeah, I had a big kind of smile on my face. It was just such an enjoyable...
then the fight with the Hulk as well.
Yeah, that was great. Got hardly anything left on the camera. Just want to say very briefly, I loved how they used some of the old themes from the other 2 Thor films as well. That worked really nicely, I thought.
Once in a funny sense too.
Yes. So, very briefly, spoiler talk. Alright, some spoiler talk about the film. So if you haven't seen it, stop watching, obviously. Heard an alarm and everything. Right. The Odin stuff. You said you didn't like some of it. I was really impressed. There's a line in the film that is so, like, cheesy. When Thor says to Odin, I'm not as strong as you. And I just thought in my head, no, you're stronger. And he turned around and he said it. And I thought, but...
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
But I thought he did a good job with it. Like, you hire someone like Anthony Hopkins and he can turn one of those cheesy as shit lines into something that actually
That's the
feels
scene
genuine.
I liked, though.
Okay, that's good. I was going to say...
The first scene, when he
Loki.
talked before he died...
Oh, that, okay.
When he was just looking out from the cliffs and
Yeah.
stuff, and he talked about their mother and
Yeah.
stuff like that, that just felt read. It felt like he read a story.
Interesting.
I didn't believe it. And,
Okay.
and it was the tone
Yeah. I liked it. And again, it's a very...
I know that he can do better.
And it was a very cheesy moment when he basically, I mean, he just Yoda's himself, you know, he just fades into, he becomes one with the Force and like it still lives on later on, you know, it just kind of fades away into nothing. What?
We forgot to talk about Doctor Strange! How funny was that?
It was alright, I enjoyed it, it was a fun little
was
scene.
great.
I didn't enjoy that scene very much because that was the one when I really was aware of the... It's just like the scene
It was
when...
a great scene.
There's a scene where Thor's got like a drink and then it turns into a mug of beer and the girl's like... And it's
I
just
don't
like,
even remember what they were talking about.
yeah, I don't either because I was too distracted by the girls. At the beginning of the movie I couldn't concentrate on it, so...
What did Doctor Strange want?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Why did he call it?
Anyway, and also that scene when we have Loki and Thor and Odin on the cliff, they changed that because originally the hammer got broken in New York outside Doctor Strange's house, I think. They changed it to that cliff top, and you could tell
The hammer got destroyed in Norway.
that scene, it just goes to show you what a good location shoot can do, because you said, I think you leaned over and said it's like Star Wars, or feels Star Warsy because of the end of The Force Awakens. Now you look at the end of The Force Awakens and they're there on that cliff and it's awesome. In this scene, you can just tell they're on the stage.
It's not a cliff.
And there's a shot of them from behind looking out. Oh no,
I was thinking that too.
It's just Odin stood on the cliff top looking out to the sea, and he just looks so pasted into the shot.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
They couldn't go to a cliff?
Well, they made the decision later on, I guess, to change the scene, so I'm assuming they didn't have the time to do that, and it would be quite an extensive thing to do just to get that one scene. Anyway, there's some seams around the edges, but the rest of the special effects I thought were very good. The other spoiler I wanted to talk about, the only thing really, well, I loved how to defeat the villain, they had to basically sacrifice their homeworld. I thought that was a good twist. You know, there's only so many times you can fight a villain who's indestructible and then kill them. So they couldn't beat her. She was too strong. So they decided to basically just nuke it from orbit, so to speak, where they invoked the fire demon thingy. I thought it was a great way to end it, and a nice way to end the trilogy as well, because, you know, I doubt they're going to do another standalone Thor movie, so I thought that was good. One thing I really liked, and it's really weird and minor, but in the trailer we see the shot of Thor landing on the Bifrost Bridge with the lightning erupting around him, with both eyes. I loved that. And again, we talk about the trailers giving away too much, like in Alien Covenant and in Blade Runner. You know, these scenes that I know are coming, so I'm waiting for them at the end of the film. They did two versions of the shot, where his eye's missing in the actual film, but in the trailer they had both eyes there, just so they didn't spoil that thing for you, which I thought was really cool. They put the effort into going, oh, let's not spoil that for them. My voice is breaking. I enjoyed that.
Shouldn't have to stand for it.
Shouldn't have to stand for it. Stand! I don't know what's happening to my voice.
You have to put that clip in.
Fuck that! There's no reason why the game should be programmed this way. And we shouldn't have to stand... And we shouldn't have to stand... And we shouldn't have to stand for it. We shouldn't have to stand for... Stand. And we shouldn't have to stand for... Jeez.
So they understand.
Oh no, you shouldn't have to stand. Anything else you would like to add about Thor Ragnarok?
When he finally got his lightning powers during the Hulk match, I think I knew that he was going to get it, but I'd forgotten. And so when he got them, and his eyes were like glowing white, like all stormy, and he was like lightning all over him, like I actually felt goosebumps like slowly crawling up my arm and back and onto my neck, and I really enjoyed the sensation. And like, because I'm fascinated by the fact that we actually get goosebumps. It's very interesting.
True.
But so I was sat there and I was like, actually trying to like feel the goosebumps as well, and that just made me enjoy it so much more. Like when you can physically enjoy a movie like that, it's great, isn't it? That's something mental makes you physically. It's great.
By just looking at images and listening to sound.
The music,
that put together in just that right way, and the build-up of everything. And
and I was just, when that happened, I was just sat like this. My mouth was open. I could have possibly been drooling too. I'm not sure. But it was just so great. And then Jeff Goldblum just fucking, he hit the fucking stop button, didn't he? Kind of. What happened then?
It's fine, the battery's running out. What do you mean he hit the stop button?
Well, he tastes Thor.
Oh, right, in the fight.
Just when he was gonna everything, you know?
Little, like,
and then he's like...
I love that little, like, techno band that Jeff Goldblum, he's like, oh, some keyboards. Was that even real? Like, it's just such an odd film. And with some of the weird stuff, but it just... He's always odd. And it seemed to celebrate his oddness. It was a perfect role for him, I thought. He could just be full Goldblum. And you said you didn't like the fact that his eye got cut out and he had the patch on because you liked the two eyes with the thunder.
Yeah, it gave more effect for me.
Right, but I love it because it's, you know, in Avengers 3 he's going to seem like a different, well, not a different person, but, you know, look at the first Avengers film. He's just fresh off of becoming a humble hero, a humble god. And then, you know, as the films go on, you lose stuff along the way. He's got a different haircut, which I thought was cool, looked different. And now he's got the eye patch. He's been through stuff, and it's just like the characters are getting, you know, more weathered as the films go on, and I like that progression.
Do you think maybe that they'll change that poster that they drew?
What poster?
Of the third Avengers movie.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
He's got both eyes there.
Good point.
Scarlett Johansson has got blonde hair.
That's probably for a reason, I think. Anyway.
Which we don't know yet.
Right, true. But that would give away the end of Thor Ragnarok.
No, so maybe they'll be like, oh, here's the edited version.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. They
just
get
put the eye patch on him.
Or they just Photoshop it, which they're very good at doing. They just wipe over people's faces whenever they feel like it. Right. Thank you for watching.
Remove mustaches.
Or remove mustaches, yeah. Justice League coming up soon. So, thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts down below on Thor Ragnarok. And
watch it. Well, you watched it.
Yeah, if you're watching this point in the video, you've already seen it.
Go watch it again.
I think people are enjoying it. People are enjoying it and stuff. Yeah, it was awesome.
Loved it.
And some people saying, oh, the plot's not good. The plot's fine.
Give it a 10 or 9.9.
The plot's fine. You know, it does what it needs to do. It's just entertaining. Right, won't get into that. Thank you for watching. 9.5 out of 10.
No, 9.9.
9.9? 9.
It might be a 10 out of 10.
Right.
You know what? I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Battery's really running low.
10 out of 10.
I would also say 10 out of 10.
10.
Yeah, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Very good.
Toodles.
Toodles. Ta-da.
And farewell.
Cheer out.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause